Hi, so this is my first vlog, and today we're going to be talking about a topic that we discussed this week in class. And Dr. Redcup from the University of Manitoba came in and did a little presentation for us. When he did this presentation, it was called "Why Should You Love Your Smartphone More?" And I thought, well, I love my smartphones, I love technology, but he opened up my eyes to something that I have never thought about before. And I bet you haven't either. He made us think of a few things. He had a couple of questions for us, and I didn't really have an answer to them. One of the questions was, how do we convince designers to make devices less disposable and more upgradable? And I thought, well, they come up with a new iPhone every year. They are upgrading it. But then he asked the question, well, what do you do with your old iPhone? Do you just throw it away? Do you recycle it properly? And I thought, no, I actually just keep it around. And then he went on and talked about what materials are being used to create these iPhones and all these cool smartphones and technology that we use today. And I got to thinking, okay, yeah, well, if I get an iPhone or a phone every other year and I'm keeping it, all these people who are miners who have to get the material from the mines, they're having to get this material to create a new phone, and then I buy it and I just keep it, where I could recycle it properly, and then we could use the same material to create the new phones. I don't really like to throw things away. Why? I'm not too sure. And I think, oh, I should recycle it. I like recycling. I like to keep the environment clean and healthy. But my phones, I decide not to. Because maybe I have an old picture that maybe in 3 years, from now, I want to look back to it. So I just keep it. But then I think, well, I'm not being a good citizen. I'm not recycling, reuse. So why do we do this? Why do we keep all these phones with us where we could just recycle it? He showed us a company in Europe that is actually looking at upgradable phones. It is running in Europe, but it's not running here in Canada just yet. What it does is, instead of being in line for hours to get the new iPhone every single year, what they do is they have the same phone, but they can sell you parts that you can upgrade them so it can make your phone more up to date, if you want to say. For example, let's say you have a phone from 5 years ago and the camera had 3 megapixels. Now every year it advances and it gets better and better. So what they want to see, if maybe they can just upgrade the camera instead of trying to get rid of the whole phone, and just get a new camera and make it better. The idea of upgradable phones is amazing. I think it's great. But just like me, I know there's a lot of people who just like to get the new phone. It makes you feel nice. It makes you feel like you just got something new. And you don't really think about the recyclable and the environment part of it. I have kept most of my phones. Will show you the ones that I've kept, which are my smartphones. The older ones, which are my flip phones, my Nokia, and all those kind of things, I didn't exactly keep them, but I wish I would have, because it would have been really crazy to see what all I have. But for example, I started out with an iPhone 3. It's a little bit beat up, but this was one of my first phones, and I loved it. I thought, oh wow, it's great. I had so many pictures, so many songs. It was awesome. Then, a year and a half after it came out, I saw another phone that I thought it was even better. So I went and got the HTC, powered by Microsoft. I loved it. I thought it was great. I was like, oh, I do everything with Microsoft. So I was like, I'll keep it. And then HTC kind of stuck to me. So I decided to, when the new one came out, to upgrade it to the new HTC. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. And I was just wondering, oh, it cannot get any better than this. Until, sadly, a year later, the new HTC came out, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. Loved this phone and it was amazing. It had amazing speakers, which is why I liked it, because I really love music. But I was like, I don't want just the speakers. I want a really, really good camera, and I want something more user-friendly, because this is powered by Android. So I decided to go back to a good old iPhone. And it was more user-friendly, but it just didn't have the qualities that an Android had. So after a year of having the iPhone, I was like, okay, no, I have to go back to an Android. So then the Google decided to come up with a Google Pixel, which is when I acquired my first Google Pixel. This is honestly the best phone I've ever had, and everything was great. Everything is amazing on it. But obviously, like, time goes on, the new Google Pixel came out and it was bigger. And I was like, whoa, bigger screen? That's better. I cannot upgrade that on this one. And I was like, okay, well, I don't need a bigger screen. But then it was like, it's faster. And I'm like, okay, I need it. It's faster. And then it's like, new camera. And I'm like, okay, there's too many new things. I have to get it. So I got rid of this Pixel and I went and got my other Pixel. This was my second Pixel. It looked exactly the same one as the first one I got, but it was bigger, better camera, and it was faster. So I was like, oh, this is great. And I was like, you know what? I can see myself keeping this phone for a while. Why? Because it was just perfect. It had everything I've ever wanted. And so I did. I kept it for 2 years, and I believe that was the longest I've ever kept the phone. Until this last fall, they decided to come out with the Google Pixel 5. I was like, well, I don't need that. It's smaller than this one. Why would I want something smaller? But the new technology of 5G caught my eye, and I was like, oh, I kind of need that though. It's cool. I need it. But I was like, no, I can just keep this one. I want to be more environmentally friendly. I can just keep this one. And I thought, I can do it. I can do it. I don't need it. And needless to say, a couple of weeks after I said I could do it, I went on and got my final and last phone, the Pixel 5, which is what I've stuck with for a few months now. And it's great. I don't want to upgrade it. I don't want to get rid of it. But just like any other phone, in a year, 2 years from now, I'm probably going to get rid of it, because something new is going to come along with a better camera, faster, and I'm a consumer, and I want the new and better and shiny thing. He also talked about one thing that everybody knows what it is, and it's the cloud. Alright? So he talked about, what is the cloud? Is it just whatever we see outside when we're outside and look at the sky? Not quite. He said that the cloud is a concrete and steel buildings with thousands of computers linked together. And obviously, we're dealing with computers and phones. We knew it was going to be some sort of computer. Then he said, how much energy does a Google search use? And I thought to myself, well, I don't know, probably not a lot. Like, it's just a simple Google search. There's times where I'm doing schoolwork that I make hundreds of Google searches. So I'm like, I don't know, not a lot. And then he goes and tells us that one simple Google search lights a 60-watt bulb for 17 seconds. And that is wild. Because I never thought that that's how much energy one Google search would take. We, using all these new technologies, we use so much energy that it's insane. It's crazy. And it just blew my mind, and I think that's something to keep in mind. That we're using a lot of energy with everything we do. And we need to be more conscious about the energy that we use. And maybe use more reusable energy. Maybe use solar panels and stuff like that, because it's a lot. And we are now very dependent on our technology, and we need it. What can we do to make this a little bit better? We can recycle. How do we recycle? We can take our old devices and our old technology to Staples, Best Buy, a phone kiosk, and they can probably dispose of it safely and in a way that they could reuse the materials that are in our old technology. That way, when we think about tantalum, we don't have to think about the people that get hurt getting these minerals. And maybe our next phone, maybe my next Pixel is going to be used and it's going to be made with stuff from my other phones that I'm probably going to end up recycling, and hopefully they get reused. So thank you for listening to my vlog, and hopefully there's more to come. This is a really cool and interesting topic, and I really liked it, and I really thought that it would be a good thing to share with you guys. Thanks.